If you are arguing that Dana White was correct in this situation, you are absolutely out of your mind. And if you came for the cryptocurrency news and to see how this ties into crypto.com and Cronos, I'll put a timestamp in the description down below so you can skip ahead to that part. But now I'm about to go ahead and rant about this entire situation because I've had a few days to think about it, and I've seen some really dumb mouth breather reactions from different people all over the internet. And let me ask you something. As a man, if your significant other hits you, would you hit her back? I'm not talking about a life and death situation where your life is on the line. I'm not talking about some random person you met out at a grocery store who's attacking you and you can't get away. I'm asking you, if your significant other hits you, would you hit them back? And if the answer to that question is yes, you are out of your damn mind. I don't care what all these crazy leftist, feminist, social justice warriors say. Men and women are not the same. We're extremely different. As a matter of fact, let's do a little case study for you. You and your significant other go get naked, stand in front of a mirror, point out the differences, and then come back to me. Men are stronger than women physically in almost every single way. This is why we have different sports leagues, for this exact reasons, because it's not fair. If it was men versus women in tennis, men would dominate. If it was men versus women in basketball, soccer, it doesn't matter. Men would dominate. There was that video of like a high school soccer team playing against like the women's national team or men's college team, whatever. It was different leagues, but it was like the women's national team against like a bunch of amateur guys, and the guys dominated. That's because men physically, we're just more imposing. We're stronger in every single way. Men and women are not the same. Regardless of what this new order of social justice and feminism tries to make you believe, when it comes to especially physicality, we are not the same. It's absolutely insane. This is why trans issues is such a big deal when it comes to sports, because when you have a trans woman who used to be a man enter a sport full of women, she is going to dominate because she used to be a man, and that testosterone is probably still flowing through their body. This is absolutely insane. And keep in mind, not even Dana White is defending himself in this situation, right? He isn't. He's saying there's no excuse for it. He's going to have to deal with this for the rest of his life and explain to his kids why he's on camera hitting his mother. This is kind of insane. Remember back in 2008, right? Or not 2008, 8 years ago, when Ray Rice, the football player for the Baltimore Ravens, right, was in an elevator with his wife, and she rushed him, right? She came at him and he hit her. Now, I don't know why you would rush a running back. His job is to stiff arm people, right? He knocked her out cold and dragged her body out of that elevator. That video was made public, and Dana White spoke out on it, and he said it was unexcusable, and that's a disgusting thing to do. But here he is caught on camera, right, doing the same thing. And he said he was drunk. He's saying that this is the first time it's happened. What are the chances of this being the first time this has happened caught on video? Now, I'm not some Dana White hater. I'm not some man hater. I'm not some, crazy feminist woman supporter. I think that's all ridiculous. But if it's not a situation where your life is in danger or you can't get away, then you're not going to hit a woman back. That's what I'm saying. You just don't do those sorts of things, right? Now, I've seen videos like really big women beating up little guys. That happens all the time. But this is not that situation. Was Dana White in any trouble in this situation? Dana White's big 200-something pound ass versus his small 150-pound wife, right? Is he in any sort of danger? No. She hit him in the face and he hit her, right? Obviously, his hit did way more damage. In my opinion, there's no reason for you to hit a woman in that situation. Like I said, it's different when it's life and death and those sorts of things, right? People make you mad all the time, but ask yourself this question, right? Especially your significant other. They know how to push your buttons like no one else. As a man, would you hit your significant other? And if the answer to that question is no, then why would you support Dana White on this situation? Now, Dana White as a man is absolutely, when it comes to his business ventures and endeavors and the things he's done for the UFC, it's absolutely insane. He brought this company from being bankrupt to selling it for $4.5 billion. Absolutely insane. And he's still the face of the UFC. Does he own the UFC? No, but he's the face of the UFC. When everyone sees Dana White, they think UFC. He's one of the most hardworking, conscientious, sacrificed his entire life for this business kind of man. That's the person he is. But it doesn't mean that he can go hit his wife because she hit him first. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And people are saying, oh, well, you know, everyone's different. Maybe you wouldn't do it, but you shouldn't put your hands on people. Guys, don't be ridiculous. Don't take this out of context. You saw the video. Was Dana White in any sort of trouble? No, he should have just walked away, in my opinion. Now, let's get to the Cronos news and how this ties in with Crypto.com. Now, do I think that Cronos or Crypto.com will cut their ties with the UFC because of this incident with Dana White? Absolutely not. Not even close. Now, mostly because Dana White isn't the owner of the UFC, but he is the face of the UFC. Dana White brought this company from where it was to where it is now. If you guys didn't know, the UFC was on the brink of bankruptcy. It was viewed as a barbaric sport. It wasn't even illegal in all 50 states until like I think 2017 or 2018. It was absolutely ridiculous, right? But recently, in the last few years, they sold this company for $4.5 billion. To go from the brink of bankruptcy to selling it for $4.5 billion is absolutely insane. And although there have been people behind the scenes like the Fertitta brothers who have pretty much been the backer, right, for this company and provided the funds, Dana White has been the face of the business. He has ran the business and he has done a good job at doing so when you think about a company being profitable. Now, the jury's still out on whether fighters get paid enough and a bunch of other different things, right? But Dana White pretty much made this company what it is today. But the actual owners are Endeavor. And let me tell you, you know what I mean? Let me tell you, what's sad to me is that the UFC was seen as a barbaric sport, and I think that still kind of resonates with a lot of different people. And if this was any other owner or commissioner doing this, I do think that they would probably resign, right? If another owner or commissioner was caught for maybe the MLB, right, or the NBA or NFL was caught on camera hitting his wife, even though she hit him first, I think that person would resign. But I still think that people think of the UFC as kind of a joke a little bit, and I second this sentiment because I heard it from another UFC commentator or MMA commentator in Ariel Helwani, who made some very, very good points about this situation. But I don't think that Cronos or Crypto.com will part ways with the UFC just because they kind of need each other. And I think that Cronos and Crypto.com kind of need the UFC. I think this is a very good partnership for Cronos and Crypto.com. Why? The UFC is a fairly new sport. Crypto.com and Cronos, or crypto in general, is fairly new. And as the UFC grows, which I think it is going to dominate the world in like 10, 20 years, I just believe that. Look, they have fights almost every week. I mean, there's fighters from every country, right? They don't have like an off season. It's running pretty much all year round, and people love that, and people bet on it. It's getting really, really big. And cryptocurrency mass adoption is coming faster than we know it. In 2024, I believe is going to be a huge year for cryptocurrency. So I don't think they're going to cut ties with each other. I do think they need each other, and I wouldn't want them to do that anyways. I'm not here to cancel Dana White or cancel the UFC or cancel Crypto.com. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But we have to look at the situation. I think we got to really, really look at the situation for what it is. Now, let's talk about Cronos. Now, Cronos hasn't been doing very well lately. It's been dumping with the market, but the entire cryptocurrency market is down. Now, it's up 3.5% today, which is fine, but I think we're going to have some more pain ahead, and I don't think Crypto.com or Cronos is going to be excluded from that pain when it comes to the entire cryptocurrency market, taking a few steps back before we send this thing to the absolute stratosphere. Now, what I have been liking is that Cronos has been very, very active on Twitter. We can see that they're constantly tweeting and updating the community, keeping people in the loop, and we cannot forget that they just sponsored the World Cup, and a lot of people say this was the best World Cup ever, and I have to agree. I mean, I've seen a lot of the World Cups. I mean, maybe I can't say ever because I haven't lived forever, right? But this last one is extremely exciting, and this is coming from a person who doesn't really like soccer that much. I mean, it was 7 a.m., and we were watching, Argentina and France take it to each other. I mean, it went to penalty shoot. It's like the greatest soccer player of all time, and Lionel Messi going at it with like the new young buck and Mbappe. It was absolutely insane, and it was cool to see Crypto.com logos plastered everywhere on the field. So they've been doing a good job at staying relevant in the bear market, and I do believe that cryptocurrency projects that want to stay relevant in the bear market need to do the same thing. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, I know this video is a little different from what I do, but I want to talk about the situation because I think it's super, super important to talk about while sprinkling in some Cronos and Crypto.com news. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.